Omar Ahmed, IFL TV, MTK Global, landed fresh from London.
Oh,
straight to
well
work,
fresh.
joined by no context Hearn.
You got to stop saying that now.
Why?
Because people are saying, you just put that video out saying I'm here with the guy from No Context Hearn, but then people are saying it's not No Context Hearn if you're actually acting out No Context Hearn, because the beauty of No Context Hearn is that's unprompted.
Something will pop up, I'm sure, in this interview.
I'm sure. Yeah.
We're here for Gennady Golovkin. Are you pinching yourself a bit that you're promoting the show at Madison Square Garden for Gennady?
Yeah, I mean, I always watch these fights. I've always watched these fights as a fan. Now I'm watching it as a promoter and know what's at stake. You know, sometimes, like for this fight, I'd be sitting at home watching him go out and maybe destroy Ggg-Derevyanchenko, maybe not. But this time, it's more like the importance of this fight for his career is huge. And I just got asked the question, oh, do you think he's, on the slide? I'm like, how can he be on the slide? You know, he's just beaten Canelo twice. Second fight was close, but this will tell us everything we need to know about where he's at, because Ggg-Derevyanchenko is a game fighter. He's a strong fighter. The style's going to gel perfectly, in this fight. And Gennady gets hit a lot, probably too much sometimes. But if you stand and trade with him, it ain't a nice place to be. So I think this Saturday at MSG, live on DAZN, live on Sky Sports, will tell us everything we need to know about where he's at of his career. And I know that he specifically doesn't want to talk about Canelo this week because he wants to focus on this fight. But of course, at the same time, the better the performance, the more the people that matter, which is the fans, will call that fight on, and the more chance of that happening, number 3.
Do you think we'll see a different Gennady with Jonathan Banks?
Yeah, I mean, this is the second fight, so I think against Steve Rolls, it's hard to see any changes, but we all know that, Jonathan likes to keep fighters, on their feet and moving well. I think it's difficult at this stage of his career to start changing his style too much. I think the great thing about Gennady, the great thing to watch, is that he walks you down, he cuts you off, and he makes you stand and fight. Now, if you remember the Kell Brook fight, you can have a tactic going in, which might be to box and move, but before you know it, he's cut you off in a corner. And what do? You either hold or you stand and fight. And 9 times out of 10, people will stand and fight with him. But that's very, very dangerous to do. So, yeah, that's why he's so exciting, because he makes you stand and fight. And although he does get hit a lot, if he's trading up with you, that's really where he wants to be.
He bids to become a 2-time world champion. Why is this fight getting criticised? I mean, it's ordered by the IBF.
I think every fight gets criticised, doesn't it, these days? So, this is a chance for him to become a world champion. He lost his belts to Canelo. That's history. But the IBF ordered this fight against Ggg-Derevyanchenko, and Ggg-Derevyanchenko is a very good fighter. You saw him lose to Danny Jacobs in a close fight. Yeah, but Danny Jacobs boxed technically perfect that night, and he outboxed him. Gennady's not going to try and outbox him. Gennady's going to try and outfight him. He might outbox him early. It's going to be difficult for him to outbox Ggg-Derevyanchenko. He's got to make him fight. And I'll tell you, the styles. Watch his last fight against Kolkai. Exciting. He likes to stand and fight. He's a big, strong boy, Ggg-Derevyanchenko. I think it's going to be a war.
I know you wouldn't have been directly involved. What happened with Canelo and Ggg-Derevyanchenko? Why didn't that happen?
Just probably money, probably negotiations. I think that was at a time where everything was a bit confusing. I think Canelo wanted Kovalev, then that didn't happen, then the Ggg-Derevyanchenko fight got put in, then he wanted that fight, and then, I guess Ggg-Derevyanchenko's people knew they had the option of Canelo or Gennady Golovkin, probably a little bit of playing people off against each other, and then the belt went in the air, and the IBF ordered Gennady against Ggg-Derevyanchenko, and that fight got made with myself and DAZN and Gennady and Lou DiBella quite quickly.
I'm sure you'd have seen Canelo's recent comments on Gennady, saying he doesn't need him, and the third fight won't happen, as of yet anyway. Did you make of them comments?
Just think it's really, the fans, I respect Canelo because I think he's got a great resume. And when you look at his 2019 fights, although he hasn't had the fight that the fans want, which is Gennady Golovkin, he has boxed Danny Jacobs and Sergey Kovalev. It's a strong 2019, so you've got to respect him. And I believe that Canelo will want to make the fights that the fans want. That's why this fight's so important, because Triple G's got to put in a performance that makes everyone say, we want number 3. Let's be honest, the first 2 fights were sick, bruv. They weren't they? They were brilliant fights, and we want a number 3, of course we do.
Hey, this one's good.
But Canelo calls the shots.
Good
He's the
afternoon,
A-side.
ladies and gentlemen.
He's built that
Welcome to
profile, he's
Madison
built that
Square Garden, New York City. Want to thank you for coming out
that
today
credibility
to check out
to make the decisions.
This
But
is the
you've
open
got to put the pressure on by
workout
putting in
for
great
World
performances.
Championship Boxing.
Have you spoken to
coming
Kanani
up
about Billy
on
Joe?
Saturday.
Yeah, they like that fight. Canelo likes that fight as well. I really believe, I said to Billy Joe the other day, I really believe he's in a great spot in 2020 to get those fights. But he's got to win on November 9. And next question on that is opponent will be announced very soon, which we talked about in the card.
Not Dennis Duggan, right?
No, I like Dennis Duggan because I thought he's got, you know, I thought he's a decent fighter. He's got a little bit about him, but the WBO turned that fight down. So it's frustrating because when you look at the rankings, you know, certain guys in that rankings, I don't believe have the same ability even as Dennis Duggan. But you know, that's the code we've got to follow.
Just lastly on this whole 160 mix, your guy Danny Jacobs, rumours to fight Chavez.
Yeah. Well, that'll be at 168. So we'll have to see. You know, Chavez sort of pops up every now and again and then disappears every now and again. But we're ready to make that fight on December the 13th for Danny Jacobs against Chavez. We'll see if Chavez wants it. Made him a great offer.
First fight at super middle for Danny. I mean, he's not going to be, it's not going to struggle in terms of size, Danny.
No, but really Chavez is a big 168. I mean, one of his biggest challenges is making that weight. But you know, Danny wants to get in that mix with Billy Joe and Callum Smith and all those guys. And I think he's going to do great at 168.
All right, Eddie, we'll do something proper tomorrow.
I can't wait.
All right, can't wait.
Yeah.
Bet you can't.
Cheers, mate.